Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we'll make some feta cheese and herb parcels. This is a super quick and easy to make unleavened bread, meaning that we're not using any yeast or baking powder or anything. The dough is as basic as it gets, but the end result speaks for itself. These are super delicious. And even a complete beginner could make these easily, so let's give it a go. And as always, you'll find a full recipe with all the details down in the description box. So let's begin with the equipment that we need. You'll need a frying pan, a bowl, scales, a dough scraper, and a rolling pin, which I will end up not using at the end, so don't worry about that. Now for the ingredients. We need some strong white bread flour, some milk, an egg, some salt, and then for the filling, we need some crumbled feta cheese, some chopped parsley, minced onion, black pepper, and an egg. So let's start by making the filling. So get a bowl, add the feta cheese, add the parsley, add the onion, the black pepper, and the egg. And then all you need to do is grab a spatula and give it a good mix. And you could fill these breads with whatever you like. That's the beauty of this kind of recipe. But once your filling's done, keep it on the side. Let's make the dough. Get a bowl, add the milk, add the salt, add the egg, and then give it a good mix. We just want to mix up the egg a little bit and dissolve the salt crystals. And once you're happy with that, add the flour. That's the last dough ingredient. Once again, grab your scraper and give it a good old mix in the bowl until you don't see any more dry flour. Now tip the dough out on your work surface and start kneading it. This dough is not very sticky, so we'll use a regular kneading method. What I like to do is press down and forwards with the heel of my right hand, and then using the fingers of my left hand, I fold the piece of dough under the heel of my right hand, then turn and repeat. The whole process should not take more than 5 to 7 minutes. If the dough is a little bit sticky and sticks to the table and to your hands, you can grab your scraper, scrape it together, scrape it off your hands, and continue. The dough scraper is definitely an essential tool for bakers. So just keep working your dough until it's nice and smooth and not too sticky anymore. 5 to 7 minutes later, you'll be done. And right away, we can divide it into 4 equal pieces. I do suggest using your scales for this. It's quite easy to eyeball it when you're making 2 pieces of dough. But when you're starting to make 4, 6, 8, then you really need to weigh them to get a consistent size. And once you've divided your dough, shape it into balls. And to shape them, place them smooth side down on the table, flatten them out a little bit, then fold the edge over the middle, going around in a circle until you have tightened the ball and it's nice and smooth. And then turn it smooth side up again, because that's the pretty side that should always point upwards. Now once they've been shaped, clean up the mess, place them on a plate or on a tray. We need to rest them in the fridge so the gluten relaxes and makes it easier for us to shape. So cover these up and we'll get them in the refrigerator. Try to have as little gaps of air as possible, otherwise a hard crust might form. This dough needs to be rested for at least half an hour before we can shape it, but you could also pre-make these the night before and then shape them the next day if you want. In any case, after resting, get them out of the fridge, we can start shaping. Work with these one by one, keeping the rest covered with a cling film so they don't dry out. To shape them, cover your table with a little bit of oil, and also oil the dough piece from both sides. And this process is quite easy. All you need to do is make sure everything's nicely oiled and press the dough out, going around in a circle. Don't rush it, just press it out, and ideally you want to keep going until you can see your table through the dough. Don't worry if you accidentally tear a hole in it, that's not a big deal. Now get a little bit of the filling and place it on the bottom third of the dough. And now just follow my hands. Fold the bottom up and make sure to cover the dough with just a little bit of oil. It will help to separate the layers. This spray oil comes in handy, but you can use any oil. Now take one side and fold it over the middle. It doesn't matter which side you start with. And now fold the bottom up. I'm sure there's 100 different ways of doing this. I'm just doing it this way because that's the way I'm doing it. If you want to do it differently, go for it. But in any case, just fold them so you get many layers. That's the most important part. And once you have a nice square parcel, you're done. Place it on a plate and then do the next one. And if you really don't want the hassle of making these yourself, then you can get them to make themselves. Quite cool, right? I wish it was that easy. Cook them in plenty of oil on a medium to high heat. You can do them one by one if you want. You know, if you're making the first one, you don't want to mess it up, just cook one at first. I already cooked one before this, so I'm going to do the 3 at a time. Most important thing here is not to have the pan too hot, have plenty of oil, and keep turning them every 30 seconds or so. If you flip them regularly, they will cook nice and evenly. All in all, I think they took no more than 7 to 8 minutes or so. But don't worry about the time. You'll see when they're ready. Just keep an eye on them. You want them to be beautifully golden brown all over, a little bit crispy. I actually quite enjoy making breads like these, which are made without using any yeast or leavening agents and baked in a pan. I have a whole playlist of unleavened bread videos, which I will link at the end of this video. Check them out. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down in comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.